All right. Okay. Whew. Hot damn. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have GSL Code S level Protoss in the red. Classic. Recently joined team, was it Wicked Minds, I believe? His opponent in the lower left-hand corner recently joined Team Maturino, a new StarCraft team. Both players actually joining new StarCraft teams. That is our American Terran player in the round of 8 in the yellow, Future. And, I mean, we love to see some Future. Future gave us some really, really sick games last week. I didn't even get to see them all. But Future took down Hero. If I'm not mistaken, Future took down Hero last week. That was the match I didn't get to see. But then he had some really awesome games against Solar as well. Oh, man. And I'm excited to see him playing in this again. So, Future is currently in Korea, as is Estrella, which is why we're getting them both here. And, you know, you're right, Porforion. A very small Korean contingency in today's KSL. The round of 8 is actually, there's as many North Americans as there are Korean players. No, that's not true. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 Korean players, 3 North Americans, and nice. I'm counting Special as North American. Mexico generally considered part of North America, but Special often just considered a Korean Terran at this point. See, this is what I mean. This is what we're getting here. This is a 1-1-1 out of Future. Like, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, if you're not familiar with the build orders in TVP, usually you'd see a barracks and then a command center. Sometimes you'd see the factory before that command center. But those are the likely 2 build orders. It's very rare to see the command center this late and to see the starport come up before the command center. Also, excellent micro there from Future, keeping both the Hellion and the Marine alive. He's going to want as many units as possible alive for this push. The medevac on the way out. Classic's not really sure what's happening here, right? That Adept died. It's scouted no command center, so the CC's going to start up now. But Future's getting very aggressive very early. This is going to be a much earlier medevac than Classic is used to seeing. But he's suspicious. He knows something is up, that Adept saw that things aren't as they should be. Now, that being said, a lot of times, Terrans lately have been building command centers on the high ground, stopping the Protoss from being able to see what's going on. And that's a good snipe from Classic. He's going to delay this CC. He kills one of the Hellions. But this medevac is still boosting across. It has a Widow Mine and 6 Marines in it. I can count. We're going to see a recall on this Nexus. The Widow Mine gets killed because there's already an observer here. The medevac actually getting hit. Oh, Future doing some fancy micro, but the medevac goes down. One of the stalkers dies. The other one looks like it should stay alive. Ooh, no, actually, it stops a little too close to those Marines. And it goes down. Was this really worth it for Future? It's a little hard to say. The idea was for these Hellions to sneak in at the same time, but Classic stops that from happening with a nice warp in the wall here. And these Hellions aren't able to get that damage done they were looking for. It also would have been 3 Hellions, but one of them died on the other side of the map. In terms of the actual numbers, it looks like that was worth it for Future. But remember, this command center is very delayed, so Future is not going to have the economy that he'd normally want at this point. So taking a slightly better trade really isn't worth it for everything that got lost in terms of the mining time. And now there's really nothing to push these 4 stalkers away. There's no bunker here. These 6 Marines can get kited against pretty much infinitely. A nice scan there to kill the observer, but 3 SCVs already going down. A 4th one goes down here. And even if this Cyclone gets the kill, it looks like it will. Still feels kind of dicey, and oh, losing the Cyclone. Future with a very cheeky build here, but Classic just masterfully countering it. Auto turret does go down to push these units away. Oh my god, and the Hellions come back to kill the Stalkers. They get 2 kills. All right, hold on. I was like, Classic masterfully handling this, and then Future counters that by killing all 4 of those Stalkers. That's actually pretty sick, and it keeps those trades very even. Still good for Classic, but only slightly. Now with the tank out, I think Future should be able to just back up here. He's going to lose a couple more Marines, but he's going to draw these Stalkers right into the tank fire. Gets another Stalker kill there. These trades have been kind of insane. Honestly, the biggest thing here is that 8 Stalkers have died and 14 Marines have died. So both players, like, mid-games are going to be a little bit weaker. I love that Classic is choosing not to go into Blink. After losing all those Stalkers, it's like, nah, why even bother with the Blink Stalker phase, you know? Just have them, a few of them out. Charge and Storm, both on the way here for Classic. Storm is so big. That's going to be such an early Storm. This actually reminds me of how Zest used to play this matchup all the time. Oh! That feedback, too. Sick. Takes all the energy off of that Raven. Doesn't really do much damage to it, but stops it from being able to drop those auto turrets. And yeah, Future goes for a push in the next couple of minutes. It is going to get thwomped by Storm. Storm really has a big fall off later on in the game when Ghosts come out, but until then, Storm is extremely good. Wait, no one's casting Gumio special? How's that happen? I can tell you there's French coverage of Gumiho special. Kanoya. K4Noya, I believe, is their Twitch name. It's covering it in French, so you could at least watch it there. I'm going to double check and make sure that's right. Ah! I dropped my mouse. Yeah. So if you'd like to... Oh my god, there's storm drops. Oh! Whew. I'm glad I got back to my computer just in time to see that. As I dropped my mouse on the ground. 9 SCVs going down. Oh, Classic is so sick. I love Classic so much. But yes, if you'd like to check out Kanoya's channel, they're covering Gumiho versus Special in French. Classic also looks like he wants to push in here. There's one tank, but Future's got to get the rest of these units back in here. Ooh, Classic's going to go for it. The Ghost Academy is on the way, but there's no Ghost here yet, which means the Storms! Oh, and feedback's on the Ravens. Oh my god, Future's just not ready for those Storms. Oh, more! The weather is so bad. The Ghosts come out and EMP everything after the damage has been done. GG gets called, and Classic takes game number 1. Wow. What a sick game number 1. That is incredible. Future with a pretty wild build. To open it up. Not super wild, but like very aggressive and not something we normally see. Classic handling it very well, playing very carefully. I don't know if Classic was assuming something weird would happen, but was definitely like suspicious Future was going to pull something. Was proven correct. And then the counter of going for very quick charge and very quick storm, I like that a lot because I think a lot of Terran players who open with something aggressive like that would want to go into a very quick follow-up. Like, hey, I'm going to come do economic damage to you, maybe trade with some Stalkers, and then I'm going to hit you again and again. Blink Stalkers don't deal very well with that. They're good in a passive mid-game scenario, or like a passive early game. Blink Stalkers can be very good at picking a few units off. They can do okay against aggression in the hands of somebody like Classic. But I think Charge and Storm deals so much better with any sort of follow-up aggression. And we saw it do so well with the feedbacks against the Raven harass, and then later against the Ravens in the main fight. The Storm drop, the Storms against the army. It was just so well done by our red Protoss. In the lower right-hand corner now of Gresvan. Classic. Cleaning up that game one. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner. The blue Terran for Macherino is Future. Trying to represent America in this Korean StarCraft League. We have 4 Koreans in the round of 8, 1 per match. But we do have a couple of Americans. We have a Mexican player. Is Special in Korea right now? I would assume he is since he's playing in this, but certainly not impossible for him to play from Mexico. Oh, we also have Nice, Taiwanese player. We've got kind of a worldly KSL this week, which I love to see. I really do. We also have some worldly coverage, as we have, of course, a few American English broadcasters. Shouldn't just say American. Steadfast is Canadian. And I don't actually know where Light is from. I feel like I should know that. But we also have Enki casting in Spanish. And we have Kanoya casting in French. I don't know if we have any Korean commentators today. I didn't see Maddox or Into the Inu. But they're often around as well. We do have a Proxy Reaper here at a Future. It is just the single Rax. Future trying to also bunker the low ground, but the Zealot's going to force the cancel on that. Shield battery and anything up here. So the probes! Citizens arrest. And down goes the first Reaper just to the probes. Doesn't get any kills. Maybe it got 1 kill before going down. I guess it did. Yeah, the probes with the victory. And a counter bunker here to try to defend the follow-up harassment from Classic, who's going to send the Zealot across. Can the Marine get up there and the depot close? We're about to find out. Oh! Just enough space between those two. Zealot goes down to the Widow Mine. Probe dies to the Marine. I think this Marine can just push away the Adept now. But this is like no investment from Classic to just send these units across the map. This is so good for Classic. Very, very good for our Protoss player. Very unfortunate for Future. Going for a cheeky proxy, trying to get a couple of kills. Ends up not really worth it. And again, we have another build, another opening from Future. It's maybe a little bit non-standard. Classic just holds it beautifully. I think it shows one of Classic's big strengths as a player. He tends to be able to play carefully without taking like a disadvantage. Some players, they'll play carefully, and because of that, they can get caught off guard. They can get taken advantage of in terms of like the other player being greedy economically in some situations. But I think Classic is often able to make it work. One of mine's trying to run away. Widowmine gets picked up. Do we have units here to push these Phoenixes away? We do, but the Cyclone... Ooh, you know what? The Cyclone gets a kill. A little bit of micro here for both players. The Medevac goes down for 1 Phoenix. Relatively even trade, if we're honest. Some cute moves on both sides, though. Both players showcasing their micro abilities. Future has been looking very, very good lately. And he's only kind of recently come back. But man, he has looked strong. And I'm really happy to see it because we haven't had a lot of American players to watch lately. With Neeb retiring. You know, we've got our classics, our standbys. Strays look very good. Triggers look very good. I'm happy to see Future returning and in absolutely top form. Classic giving him a tough time in this one, though. A couple of Immortals here going to make it tough for these Cyclones to find too much damage. Phoenix can fight with the Viking on the high ground. Whew. Ooh, a Siege Tank to pull back to. Gets a nice little shot off there. Gets another one, actually. See if these Cyclones can get a lock on anything. Looks like one of the Cyclones already died. Future gonna pull back, maybe just move around the side. I love these Widow Mines just kind of spread around here. I think Classic realizes that those mines are there. He's gonna do his best to avoid them. Ooh, Force Field to trap that Cyclone in. Really nicely done. The Cyclone has the most amount of micro potential here. And anything Classic can trim off from this army is going to be very good for him now because Future's trying to get very aggressive. I don't think Future has a third base behind this, though, so he's got to find some damage. He's got a third Siege Tank moving across the map now. He's trying to find a way in. This Pylon going to notify Classic that this army is here. With two Colossi out, these non-stim Marines. Actually, do they have stim? They do have stim. Oh my god, but those Widow Mines just friendly fired a bunch of the Marines and those Siege Tanks. Oh, and this army's got to get the hell out of Dodge. I think it might be too little too late. Classic has so much army here, and Future's not going to be able to get away with all this, I think. The Siege Tank is in a dicey position right now, and the Phoenix is going to get a lift. Oh, it doesn't have energy for it. Doesn't have energy. Future's going to be able to pull back and regroup a little bit. He does have a third on the way, but Classic now with all this map presence could very easily drop a fourth base, or at the very least just hold this third up a lot of workers. The economy has been very good for Classic, and it's going to continue that way for a while. Future pulls back and is trying to regroup, but down army supply now. And without any medevacs, okay, a couple medevacs finally show up. This army is not going to be able to stim and heal. Oh my god, the Bio's trying to leave right as Classic pushes in. Just the worst possible timing for Future to leave. The tanks are going to get demolished here. There's nothing that shoots up, but yeah, GG gets called. The defenses are wiped out. Two medevacs are just not going to get it done across the map. Classic handling every weird thing Future was trying to throw at him. Every kind of slightly odd timing or build order. Handling it beautifully and countering it perfectly. Classic. Showing why he's one of the best. Taking out Future in the round of 8. Doing what Hero could not last week.